Hi there, I'm author Julie Hasson of Safe, Seen, and Stretched in the Classroom. The research behind this book is based on my interviews with hundreds of people about the teachers they remember. When I present that research, I'm often asked, what makes a teacher so memorable? Or why do we remember some of our teachers so clearly? There are many reasons why we might carry the memory of our teacher for years, maybe even decades. It could be because we experienced some kind of turning point in that classroom. Or it might be because that teacher helped shape our sense of identity. Often it's because we just experienced a beautiful moment of joy and connection, and we carry the memory of that moment for a long time after we leave the classroom. Why we remember a teacher is the topic of Chapter 6 in Safe, Seen, and Stretched, and that's the chapter we're unpacking in this week's book study. So let's get ready to talk about memorable teachers. What leads to a memorable moment in the classroom? Often these moments are turning points. So a student is in a state, could be a state of challenge or frustration, they're not their best selves, and then a teacher's actions lead to a moment of transformation that sets them on a new trajectory. There's a beautiful story, an example of this in chapter 6. It's Stephen's memory of his second grade teacher, Mrs. Merkel. And Stephen said he had this habit from kindergarten on of tapping with his pencils on his desk or his books. If the teacher took his pencils, he tapped with his fingers or on his legs. He said he drove his teachers crazy, except for his second grade teacher, Mrs. Merkel. But one day she asked him to stay after school, and he's sure he was going to get a lecture or detention. Maybe she was going to call his mom again about his tapping. But instead she said, walk with me. And they walked across campus to the middle school next door and into the music room, where she introduced him to Mr. Merkel, yes, her spouse, her partner, who sat him behind a drum kit, gave him 2 drumsticks, and taught him some basic rhythms. And he said he never felt more at home. He decided from that moment on he was born to play the drums. I mean, that tapping was a sign. And he started to meet with Mr. Merkel occasionally after school for drum lessons and really channeled that need to tap into something very productive. And he said it was a turning point in his life. He's still a drummer in a band. It's his passion, and he remembers that moment in Mrs. Merkel's class so clearly as the moment when he went from a kid who had an annoying habit to a kid who had a gift. If we can find a challenge or frustration, take some kind of action that helps the child on a new, more positive trajectory, we can help them experience a turning point, and that's likely something they will always remember. The memories students carry from their time in our classroom are often moments that shape their identity. There are times when they discover more about who they are. Jordan, a graduate assistant, shared a story with me once about her 5th grade teacher, Miss Arbor. She remembers coming into a parent conference, sitting between her parents and Miss Arbor, when Miss Arbor took out this folder and started to pull out pieces of her writing and talk to her parents about her beautiful word choice and what a gifted writer she was. Jordan said up to that point, having siblings who were gifted athletes and one a gifted musician made her feel like her propensity for reading and writing wasn't all that special. That when Miss Arbor complimented it and pointed out specifically to her parents the skills she had as a writer and a critical thinker, she began to see herself as talented too. She began to see herself as a writer and a scholar, and it really shaped her path. And it's a memory that she carried for, over a decade and continues to shape her life. So if we think about helping students identify their strengths, find out more about who they are, we can help them develop memories that they'll carry and that will continue to shape their lives for many, many years. Many of the memories people shared with me are just beautiful small moments of joy and connection. In the beginning of chapter 6, Louise talks about Mr. Alexander's classroom. She clearly remembers the artwork that was on the wall, the literature he read, the music he played. And she hasn't seen him for decades, but the memories are so clear. And she shared one specific memory of a time when he turns out all the lights and he put on a record of Edgar Allan Poe reading The Telltale Heart. And she remembers experiencing that with her classmates. It's these small moments of joy, of wonder, moments when we feel like we're having this collective experience that we tend to remember. If we can create these beautiful moments of joy and wonder and connection, we're likely to create memories that students will carry forever. Stick around because coming up, I've got reflection questions for you. Reflection question 1. What memories do you carry from your K-12 years? Do you remember specific books you read or that your teacher read aloud to you? Do you remember certain poetry, songs, projects, or performances? Pause the video and take just a few minutes to think about the specific memories you carry and what you remember from those K-12 years. Reflection question 2. What memories do you think students carry from their time with you? If they come back to visit you, are there certain things they always mention? More importantly, what memories do you hope students will carry? And is there a way to find some lessons or experiences to make it more likely that you create those kinds of memories together? Stick around because coming up, I've got this week's challenge. This week's challenge. Think about some upcoming content you're preparing to teach. What could you integrate into those lessons that might make them more memorable? Could you integrate some art, some music, some literature? Could you find ways for students to connect with each other over the content? Could you help them experience small moments of joy and wonder? I'd love to hear your ideas. Feel free to drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks for reading Safe, Seen, and Stretched. We'll see you next week for Chapter 7.
Don't miss any of our upcoming content. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. And we'd love it if you'd head over to Amazon and leave a review of Safe, Seen, and Stretched in the Classroom. It will help other readers find the book.